since we're already logged in, first thing na gagawin natin is to make a functionality for our add new user. Kasi hindi pa siya functional. Okay? So, going to the portal here. So, hanapin natin yung, I think let's try to copy yung code natin sa registration. Kasi halos the same yung process. Okay, copy. And paste here. Let me just copy this one and make it submit. And let's try to call it up here. Yan. So, username, password. Wala ditong Xname. Hindi pala required yung Xname. Okay. Password, okay. Sige nga. Let me try. Save. Yun. Okay, works. It works. Then, we try to call this one. Let's try to find where it is. Okay, ito yung code sa ating users model. So, dito user, kasi user yung sinisave niya. So, I guess, let's try to create na lang different post. So, save post record admin just to have a unique name. Then, ito yung tatawagin natin dito. So, instead of dito, there's another thing that we should add on the part of the input. Kailangan pala may role tayo. Wala pa tayong role na drop down. So, add user. So, maglalagay tayo ng role. Let me try to copy this code. And add tayo ng drop down dito. Remove ko na lang yan. Which is using the select and then option. Then the value, basically, this will be the constant value. Alin yung constant? Yung admin at saka manager. Sorry. Hindi pa nakakopy. Okay. Then, ito is admin. Then, another option for the manager. Manager. So, ito, administrator. Yan. And then, of course, let's give it a name of, yung name of role. Then, yung class will be yung form control. Yan. And refresh tayo. Dito natin i-update. Yan. So, we have the drop down na for the role. Kung what specific role yung pipiliin natin. Okay, so in our model, we need to retrieve as well yung role. Yan. Then, ito yung ipapasa natin dito. Okay? So, update false. Okay, cool. So, update successfully, sorry, account, no. It should redirect back to the admin portal, add user. So, do we already have yung mga success message? Yes, we do. And refresh. So, add ako ng account for Raymond more Dialo. Sabi natin Junior. Username Monmon. Password. Yung password, it should be not that one. It should be an input password. Visible yung password ko. So, it should be an input password. Yan. Okay, so let's refresh again. So, I have Raymond. More. Then, Dialogue and Junior. Then, Monmon. And Monmon for the password as well. Just a sample one. And save. Okay, so the data was successfully saved. Now let's try to check yung database if it's truly saved users. So we have here, and yung role niya is admin. Okay? Okay, so another thing is, let's try to create a manager account. Manager. M or manager. Yan. Then manager. Password will be yan na lang. Same with the first one. But the role should be manager. Okay, this data was successfully saved. And let's try to check the database. Okay, manager. Username is manager. Then yung password. Then yung role niya is manager. Okay? So now we already created yung mga users natin. So once we go to the active users, dapat dito na ma-display yung mga user na na-add natin. Okay? Now let's try to create another model that retrieve all the list of users. So let me try to copy some code here. That's okay. So let's try to copy that one. Get all active users. Okay, then wala to. So yung status, of course, kailangan active. Tapos yung dito is users, and I'm going to use result instead of row. And i-return natin yung result. Yan. Okay, so other than that, we're going to retrieve only the yung role na admin. So, punta ako sa constant. Admin. Or where manager. Okay, so there's something, meron pang error dito. I need to group this one kasi dapat mag-isa lang sila. So, merong group pagdating sa querying. So, let's try to search the group in CodeIgniter. Query Builder, meron yung groupings. If you want to group a certain where clause. So, ito. So, start dito at saka end dito. which therefore parang naka-enclose sila sa parenthesis. Yun. So ito yung get all active users. Okay, so let's go to the portal and we're going to call here yung result natin. So this load model, which is the user model. Then let's try to call the user model, then yung method. Now, we're going to pass the result directly to the data property, and then sabi natin result. Yan. Tapos, itong result, iluloop natin yan papunta sa list. Sana yung list? Dito. So, this is the list. Ito tayo dito. Let's start here. So, if set yung result and not empty, therefore may laman siya, then that's the only time that I'm going to loop. Okay? Okay. So let me try to copy one of this code. Okay. And let's try if merong error. Hindi pentapos. May error nga. User this 352. So user 352. Kulang tayo ng semicolon. Yan. So marami ng mga record. Okay, so let's go to the list. So yung pangalan is, we're going to change here the name. So if you're still remember the function that we have made about creating the full name, wherein it requires us to pass a parameter of fname of mname row lname and then row of xname. Then dito naman basically yung username. So echo row username. Okay. So next is yung role. Role niya. Then I want it to be UC first. So yung capital letter, yung first letter. Then yung edit dito, lagay muna ako ng ID. Row user ID. So let's check muna. Refresh. Yan. So i-remove ko na yung ibang code dito. So now we already have the list. Yung Mondelo, yung role niya is admin. Si Junior is admin as well. And then si Manager is a manager role. Okay, so in this particular part, on the part of the edit, we're going to make a site URL. Echo site URL tapos admin portal, the controller name, and then yung method edit user. Then anong ipapasa natin? We're going to pass first parameter of ID. Yan. Okay, so if we're going to refresh and we're going to highlight, and if we're going to check here at the bottom left side, error pa yan kasi hindi pa na-exist yung page natin. You will notice that meron siyang ID. Nag-change yung ID wherein those are the primary key or the user ID of this particular record. Okay? So same thing um, with the deactivate. So we're going to call the deactivate user. Deactivate user. So hindi pa natin yung ginagawa. So gawin pa lang natin. Okay? So ngayon, gawa tayo ng edit user. So in the part of the edit user, it will accept an ID parameter. And then edit user. So I don't have yet the form. Ngayon, let me try to copy this one and paste and palitan natin ng edit. Edit user. Yan. Remove admin portal. Okay. So the next thing is I want to get the user data. Do we have any function that's already created? Mayroong user yung personal information, I mean yung profile information, kaso nire-retrieve yung iba, hindi naman natin kailangan yan. So let me try to create a new method and let's name it as get user. Yan. So all I need to get is the user info, user details lang. So copy this one. Okay. So let me try to load some model muna. And then, tawagin natin to, ipasa natin yung ID. Then, sa data, ipapasa naman natin yung, of course, yung user. Okay? Then, ngayon, if you try to refresh and click this one, dapat populated na yung data dito. So, this is the edit. Actually, hindi ko pa napapalitan dito. Edit user. Yan. So, edit user. Okay? So, yung gagawin natin dito is, so dito, edit user din. Then, we're going to actually, pwede naman tong empty. Kasi yung mangyayari, kung ano yung nasa URL, yun yung gagrab niyang URL dyan. So, let's try to view page source. And if we're going to check the form, as you will notice, yun, ganun pa rin yung nasa URL. So, okay lang kahit empty. Okay? So, ngayon, let's try to populate yung mga data coming from the user result. So, fname. So, dito, of course, yung mname. Dito naman, yung lname. Tapos, dito, of course, yung xname. So, for the username, for the password, we're not going to place it here. For the username, pwede nating baguhin. Username. And then, for the role, paano magiging sticky form? Okay, so for the role, we're going to make a if statement within this part. Dito na lang. So, i-check lang natin. I think itinerary greater na lang. Okay, so if the user role is equals admin, then I'm going to echo selected. Otherwise, empty lang. Empty string. So, same thing here. Kung yung role niya is manager. Let's try this one. So, paano ko masabi na manager nga? Kasi, wala namang tayong blank. Let's try to put a blank role here para malaman natin kung meron ba talagang nasa-select yung process natin. So, yung value is just an empty string. Then, dito para lang dash. So, refresh. Yan. So, we successfully selecting the administrator role. Now, let's try to check naman yung iba. Sabihin natin ito kasi meron siyang junior. Kung napapapilate yung junior. Yun, tama. Then, let's try naman yung manager if masaselect yung manager. Yan, okay. So, tama na. Ngayon, the next thing na gagawin natin is to save yung record na to. Okay, so let's go back to the portal and we can just copy this one and paste it here. Kasi kailangan ko rin ng validation. So, edit, submit, and then call this one. Okay? So, required, username is required. So, ganun lang muna. I guess yung role is also required. So, basically, yung isa kanina, yung sa ad natin, we need to fix it as well. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay. Instead na update, it should be, I mean post, I mean save rather, gagawin natin siyang update. Okay? So, punta tayo sa model. Sana yung model ko? Ito. Then, let me just copy some code here and put it at the bottom part and palitan natin to update. Yan. So, ano yung kulang dito? So, basically, yung kulang natin, yung user ID. I also need to put a user ID. So, we're going to have an input type hidden, which has a name of course, user ID. And then, the value will be coming from the echo user ID. Okay? So, try to change ko lang yung name ng type para makita natin. Okay, tama. 7. Okay. So, balik ko. Refresh. Okay. Now, dito, I'm going to retrieve the ID. User ID, and then we need to make sure that it is an integer. Okay. So we have the name, we don't have a password, we have the role, yes, but instead of inserting, we're going to update data, and we have of course, the where clause. This db where, then yung user ID equals, of course, the user ID. Okay, response, and once it is successful, then re-return natin yung user ID. Okay? So ito yung process, response, the data was successfully updated, date. Then I'm going to redirect back to users list. Okay? Then sa users list, wait. Dito, palitan ko lang tong save to update. And then yung kulay, instead na success, gawin nating primary. Okay. So, refresh tayo. Okay, yan. Okay, so the next step is sa users list. Do we have success? Yes, we do have. So, try natin. Save to. Update. Mag-iba yung alert. It should be the same. Save yung nakalagay. Dapat update. Para consistent tayo sa mga label natin. Are you sure you want to update this data? Okay. So, the data was successfully updated. So, palitan naman natin kasi hindi tayo nagpalit ng any kind of label. Ngayon, gawin natin itong Monday at saka junior siya. And update. Okay, Monday Junior. It works. What about the role? Okay, it works. So that's how we can manage the editing of our user.